Hello, everyone. The book we're going to be talking about today is kind of tragic, kind of sad, and it's definitely up there in the psychological horror category. And it's also really, really good, very compelling, and you won't want to put it down. Trust me on that. So let's just talk about all that right now. So the book we're going to be talking about today is called Circle 9 by Anne Heltzel. Heltzel. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But anyway, she has a new book out, and I thought I'd go back and reread something from her earlier days to get a feel for the author. Sometimes I think that's the best thing to do. And man, this book did not disappoint. It's firmly set in this world, but it's a very terrifying psychological horror story about a 17-year-old girl who has amnesia. When we first see her, she's like on a lawn. She's hurt. She's bruised and messed up, and she has complete amnesia. And I'm not talking about she just don't remember some things. It's like she was just born into this world. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know anything about anything. Complete, total amnesia. A young man comes along. His name is Sam. He sees her laying there, and he convinces her that, even though she has amnesia, you know me. You know who I am. We've been friends for a long time. Now I got to get you out of here. What happened? Well, we don't find out until later, and I'm not going to give that away. But, she doesn't know anything else. She doesn't know if she can trust him or not, but she decides to go with him because she knows nothing else. She doesn't know anything. And I really like that because sometimes books that deal with a character with amnesia, they only block out certain things. But in her case, it's absolute. It's an absolute blank. From the time she meets Sam is the only thing she knows. Well, Sam takes her to a cave to live. He lives in a cave. And this is where the story gets interesting because in her mind, she believes everything he tells her because she has no other choice. And to think that's not horrifying, it really is if you think about it. If you had lost all your memory, you don't know anything about the world, anything about nothing. And you had to rely on a person that you weren't sure if you could trust, but they're your only hope. That's some pretty scary stuff. But we see her mental issues don't just stop at amnesia, because inside this cave, she sees it as a something that it isn't. To her, it's beautiful. It's clean. This boy Sam has decked it out. She talks about getting food out of a refrigerator, a big comfortable 4-post bed, and a big oak dining room table, a stove, cooking utensils, and they always have enough food to eat, and it's fresh and delicious. And this is the fantasy world she is in. Because here's the thing about Sam. He is not who he says he is. And one thing I really like about this book, as we go through her story and her memories start coming back about her past and how she wound up in the situation she's in, we find out, and the author doesn't hide this fact from us, but we find out that everything she's seen, everything she's thinking about this cave and about their situation and how great it is absolutely false. It's just in her head. It's just in her mind because she's been told this is what's happening. They don't go out much. Sam goes out sometimes at night, she says, because he needs to go into town and get his medicine. And we quickly learn that he's just a drug addict. That's his medicine. And all that good food she thinks she's eating is actually just stuff he gets out of a dumpster. He's basically a homeless guy. And, some of it's moldy and rotten, but she convinces herself it's grade A luxury food, And of course, the place they're living is actually not as she sees it at all. It is filthy, it is dirty, it is nasty. But the author, like I said, she does not hide this from us, the reader. You know, this isn't some big twist or reveal. We know from the very beginning of the book that the things in the world that she sees, the way she sees them, is not real. We know that right away. So we're privy to that information. But watching her, not watching this character not know any of those things is really the highlight of this book. Because we understand, because of her condition, because of her amnesia, she knows nothing, and how easy it would be for this guy Sam to manipulate her and tell her things that, of course, aren't true. Now, Sam does seem to have some good points, but he is very manipulative. Like, she relies on him, and he's always telling her, you can't, you're not supposed to go into the city. You can't be seen. Bad things are going to happen to you. Because one thing about Sam is that he is an avid reader. He loves the classics, especially Dante's Inferno. If you remember that book, it's about the 9 circles of hell, or the 9 levels of hell, whatever it is. And he convinces her that the outside world, anything outside of their world that they're living in that cave, outside of their little area in the woods, is the 9th circle of hell, or as they call it, Circle 9. That's the name of the book. And that all those people out there, even the ones that are friendly, even the ones that are going to look like they want to help her, they cannot be trusted. They are evil. They are demons. And going back is just going to cause pain and misery, because he convinced her, you know, without me, what's going to happen to you? Bad things are going to happen to you without me. And if they separate us, they're going to put us in a special place for people like us. Because we're not adults yet. And, you know, that could lead to her death or something worse happening. And he convinces her of all this. Now, I know that might sound silly to you, but like I said, her amnesia and her mental condition is the focus of this book. And it works really, really well. Because if you put yourself in her shoes, you would realize how easy it would be to be manipulated by somebody who is taking advantage of that. And even though he's a good guy, and even though she wants to trust him, she thinks she's in love with him. You know, this is the love of his life, of her life. But, you know, he's also very withholding sometimes. He'll often say and do things that hurt her, and he'll be silent for long periods of time. And pretty soon, because of a money situation, of course, he doesn't have money, and he owes his drug dealer some money, he's not allowed to get his medicine anymore. And he starts going through withdrawals, and he starts losing weight, and he's sick all the time. And she's wasting away to skin and bones, because as the story progresses, we see cracks in her mental state. We can see her with memories starting to come back. We see that she has flashes of the way their cave and their little world actually is. Like, she thinks she's cooking a delicious chicken soup, and she can smell the chicken and the aroma. And then all of a sudden reality sets in, and she notices that it's just a pot of water with cockroaches in it. And she looks around, there are cockroaches all over. The thing she thought was a bed, a luxurious big bed, is nothing but a filthy, stained, dirty mattress on the ground. And the walls are covered in slime and dirt, and it's very, very nasty there. But she flexes back and forth between reality, which she doesn't want to accept because of something she did that was so traumatic it actually erased her entire memory, and her fantasy world, where she feels safe and comforted, because it's a lot easier than dealing with any issues that she has. In one particularly very terrifying scene, to get his drugs, Sam gives her a treat and says, I'm going to go take you to meet my medicine guy. And she's very excited because she hasn't left the cave or the woods area since she's been with Sam, and she finally gets to go out and experience something. But then when he gets there and they start having a few drinks, well, she's been roofied, and his drug dealing friend will, assault her in exchange for drugs. So we know that even though all the good things she thinks about saying, we know he's a bad guy. And we know that the way she's thinking about her life and the way she's living in this fantasy world isn't real. And the author does a very, very good job of just letting us know that right from the beginning, and then sequentially letting us know how she got to the situation. And it's all going to lead to an end that is, again, this is not a fairy tale. There's not necessarily a horrible ending, but it's also not a happy ending, because things are revealed. How can she be 17 and missing? Nobody's looking for her. What's this terrible thing she did that caused her to lose her memory? And all that kind of thing. It will all be revealed as you read this book. And I was blown away by this book. It's a really, really good book. And like I said, I like psychological horror like that. I like the amnesia angle. I like how I could put myself in her shoes. And to me, it's very, very scary to think that there are people out there like that do manipulate other people and perhaps take advantage of their mental health. But it's a very, very compelling story. It's one you don't want to put down. Like I said, it's sad, it's tragic, but it's also scary. And what more could you ask for? And I'm looking forward to her new book coming out, because I like this one that much. I will leave a link down below if you want to purchase it on Amazon. And of course, my Twitter is down below if you want to join me on there. I would love to have you. And as always, thank you for taking a little bit of your time and spending it with me. I really, really appreciate it. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.